Hello everybody, welcome back to the creating a PHP CMS tutorial. This is part 4. We're going to focus more on creating the whole categories functionality in this part. So we're going to focus on creating categories, removing categories, and editing them. And basically we're just going to spend the next 10-20 minutes on that. So without any more time wasting, we're going to go ahead and hop into it. First things first, obviously we're going to need to access our CMS admin area like we have before, and we're going to hop into our localhost server and our PHP admin server. And what I went through and did is I went into my categories table inside of my CMS database, and I created 2 categories, one called general, one called tutorials. You can go ahead and create whatever you want. I just made 2 and I gave them descriptions, and we're going to use those to fill out our whole tutorial. So with that done, we're going to hop into Notepad++, and we're going to open our posts.php file. In our includes folder, we're going to open our functions.php file, and this is in our admin folder. And we're going to copy the entire contents of our posts file. We're going to paste it, and we're going to call it cats.php, just our categories. And we're just going to go through and change the things that need to be changed to say categories as opposed to posts. Let's see here, under author, we'll change this to description. And then we have action. And we're going to change get posts to get cats. Then we're going to go to our functions, and we're going to copy our get posts function, and we're going to basically just go through and change whatever says posts, and we're going to say categories. We're going to grab from categories. Categories were found. Cat. Delete cat.php, just like that. We'll put edit cat.php, change that to say cat ID, and we're done here. And now we can go back to our categories.php file and save it. And if we go to Google Chrome, or no, first we need to go to our admin's index page, and we're just going to make a link called. This link is going to say manage categories. And I'm going to change it from posts to cats.php. Go into our browser, refresh. If we click manage categories, we see our 2 categories appear right here, and we can edit and delete them. So we're going to go through and we're going to set up the edit, add, and remove category pages. And first up is the add a category page. So on the cats page, in our navigation, we're going to go right up here before the table. We're just going to put a line break. This isn't going to be a very stylistically pleasing page until we get towards the end of the tutorial when it comes to styling. We're just going to link to the addcat.php page, and we're going to say add a category. We're going to save that, and we're going to create a new page, and we're just going to save it with our actually we're going to steal the basic HTML structure from the head here, because that's no fun to type. We're going to put in the body and the HTML tag. Save this, and we're going to call it addcat.php, and we're just going to go ahead and create a form. I'm going to say action equals PHP, we're just going to put do add c.php. And we're going to put a method of post. Alright, now inside of here we're just going to set up a basic table, and actually I'm going to go to our, I believe it was our, this page. Oh, no, never mind. I'll just do it from here. We're going to set up a table row, another table row, we're going to do a table D, a TD, and it's going to say label 4 equals name, cat name, and then we're going to put inside this label, it's just going to say name and the label. Make another TD, it's going to be an input box, type equals text, name equals cat name. We're going to end that table row, and then we're just going to copy this, and we're just going to change it from cat name to cat description. Change that to description. Head over here. Change this to say cat desk. And now we have that done. We're just going to save it, and we're going to make another new file. We're just going to say PHP brackets. We're going to say do add c.php, and we're going to go ahead and check to see if the form has been submitted. And to do that, we need to give our form a name. Actually, no, we need to add a button first. So what we'll do is we'll just add another row. We're going to say td colspan equals 2. Input type equals submit. Name equals submit. Yeah, and then we're going to go to up here, and we're going to say if is set, and we're going to check to see if our post variable of submit is set, and if it isn't set, we're going to return them back to the add category page. So what we'll do is we'll say header location is add cat.php, and then we're going to and if that's not the case, we're going to proceed to do this normally, and we're going to go ahead and take our borrow our functions file. We're going to include it in our page. What we're going to do is we're creating a function, and we're going to call it add category. Add cat, and in here we're just going to go ahead and put query equals MySQL query, insert into categories, and then we're going to say values. We're going to say ID, title, description. Oh wait, no, we need to do it like this. ID, title. No, we had it right. Yeah. So we're gonna just leave this as null with the 2 brackets over it, and then we're gonna submit our post variable of our title. Actually, we're gonna we need to cname, cdesk. And so basically, we went through into I went through into the function, and I added 2 parameters called name and description, and we're going to pass those into here as we go along. So we're going to say cname right there, the cdescription right there, and make sure the around null you have the little tiny text, not the normal apostrophe. It's right next to the 1 on the upper number keys, or else it will trip something and it goes off. And yeah, we'll just say that right there. And we'll say or die MySQL error. just like that. Just, yep. And save that, and then we're going to go back to our, we're going to copy this include line, and we're going to go to our add c.php. We're just going to include our functions.php file. And now we're just going to proceed to do our normal checking. So we're going to do if is set post cname, I believe. Oh no, it was cat name. Let's go back. Yeah, cat name. So we're going to check to see if the category name is set. And we're just going to say add cat. And then we're going to pass in our variables, our post category name. And our post category description. We'll just go back and double check in our functions. Add cat. We have this. We're going to say else. Echo. Please set a category name. And we'll include our add cat.php file. Alright, so now we have our total adding functionality. And then once we add our category, we're just going to redirect them to the cats.php file. So right now, just an overview, we have our add category.php, which is just a table inside of a form that is going to be submitted to our doaddc.php file. And what it does is it takes all the variables we send over, puts it in, it checks to see if it's set for the category name. We didn't check for description because a description isn't necessary. And so we checked, and if it's set, we're going to go ahead and add it to the database, and then we're going to redirect to the categories page. And if it's not set, we're going to tell them to please set a category name and add it to the database. And then, so we're going to go here and refresh, and we can click our add a category button, and we'll put test. This is a test. Hit submit. Ooh, use of undefined constant MySQL error. Functions. Oh, it's because it's not a constant. I forgot. Don't forget the brackets after MySQL error whenever you do it. Continue. Unknown column null. Back in our functions, we are going to, if I can find it, there we go. We're just going to delete the tax around null. That should fix that. There we go. So it added our category to the database, and if we go try it again, we'll just say test. We'll make something like recipes, and we'll just leave it blank for the description. It also adds it to the database, so we're safe there when it comes to not inputting description. Now it comes time to delete categories and edit categories. So deleting is going to be very simple. We're just going to go ahead and copy our delete functionality for the post, and then we're just going to rename it to, we're going to call it delete cat ID. And all this is the same. We're just going to change the post to categories, and we're going to redirect them to categories.php. And if we go back here, functions, delete cat. So we're going to make a new file, and we're actually going to base it off of our normal, off of the delete file for our post, and we're just going to make a new file, paste it in, and we're just going to change delete post to delete cat, save it, and we're going to call it delete cat.php. Double check, yep. And if we go back to here, we're going to refresh, and let's say we wanted to read our test one, CMS site categories. Something is spelled wrong. Yep, it's spelled wrong. Down to delete cat. Save that. Refresh. Oops. Once again, another misspelling. You gotta constantly check your spelling when you're doing this. So if we refresh, it's gone. And if we want to delete our recipes one too, we hit delete and it's gone. Just like that. So our delete functionality is done. We can go over the code now. So on the categories page, they'll see a link that says to delete. That'll take them to the delete category page, and this calls the delete category function in our functions file. Our functions file, it'll grab the ID, convert it to an integer, so people can't inject into the database. And we are going to, if we see where ID equals ID, and it deletes it from the database, and it redirects us to the categories page. And now the editing of our categories is going to be very much the same, and we're going to make that page now. So we're going to copy our add category page, we're going to save it, and we're going to call it editcat.php, and at the top we're going to include our functions.php file, just like that. So we have our functions included. Now we're going to go down here, and we are going to, at the very top, we're going to keep in our PHP brackets, and we are going to call a function that we're going to create called get category. So we're going to say get cat, and we're going to pass in our get variable, which is the URL variable, and we're going to say get cat, and we're going to get the category where the ID is equal to the ID that we're passing through the URL. In our functions file, we're going to go ahead and we're going to just write a new function. We're going to call it function get cat ID, and we're just going to say query equals MySQL query, and we're going to say select all from categories where ID equals, and we're going to pass in our ID variable. And we're also going to convert our ID to an integer, so we're going to say ID equals int ID. And in our query, we're going to say, I'm going to close it off like that, and we're going to say or die MySQL error. Save that. And we're going to say, we're going to return it as an array. So we're going to say return MySQL underscore fetch assoc query, just like that. Now we're going to go back to edit cat, and we're going to set a variable called cat. It's going to be equal to get category. Now we're going to go into our categories, and we're going to, in our category name field, we're going to give it a value, which is what's in the box at the moment, and we're going to say cat title, and then we're going to wrap that in PHP brackets and say echo, basically saying that it's echoing that, just like that. No, there we go, just like that. And we're just going to copy this line, and we're going to take it down to our description. I'm going to call this description. And if we go to our browser and we click edit on one of these, ooh, editcat.php. Oh, we have a problem. See right here, that's not supposed to be there. So we're going to go to our functions, double check our editcat.php, and we see that right there. There was a problem in the URL. So if we go back, refresh. Okay, so we failed to open functions.php, and that problem is because it is in includes. So the file path was just incorrect on the functions.php file. Refresh. Now we have our boxes, and they are filled in with our category information. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to basically copy the add category page, and we're just going to go through, and instead of calling the add category page, we're going to edit the category. So we're going to save. Not that. We're going to go here. So we're going to save this page, and we're going to copy our do add category.php, and we're going to paste this in here and save it as do edit c.php. And we're going to change the action in our edit category page to edit c.php. Now in here, we're just going to, it's basically the exact same deal as in the add categories, except we're going to change the add cat to edit cat, just like that. And we're going to go through to our functions, and we're going to copy our add category function, and we're going to change it to edit cat. So we're just going to change our query here, and we're going to say update categories, and we're going to say set, we're going to tell it to set our name, and we're going to tell it to set description, and we're going to pass in our values, and the values are going to be cname and cdescription, just like that. Oop, you know what, I just realized I totally mixed up my queries. We're just going to go back and set, and we're going to say set title equals, and we're just going to pass in our cname variable, and we're going to put a comma, and we're going to put set description equal to cdescription, and we're going to tell it to do that where id equals id. And we're going to go ahead and edit our function to accept an ID variable. So we're going to put a comma ID, and we're going to say ID equals int ID, and we're going to go to our do edit, and we're going to, actually no, we're going to go back to our original form, and we're going to put another TD, and we're going to put input type equals hidden, name equals ID, value equals ID. We're going to echo that, PHP echo. Just like that. Hop back here, and we're going to pass in our function, we're just going to go ahead and pass another get variable, get ID, just like that. Go back to our functions and double check our function to make sure it works, and look for any errors. And I found one too many sets. So we're going to go ahead and run this to see if it works. So actually, before I do that, I'll go ahead and overview what it does. First thing we do, person's here, they click on the edit button, takes them to the edit category.php page. This gets filled in with all of the information we get from our query based on the get category method, and that fills in every single column we have here. And then once they finish this form, it goes into here, and then it goes in, processes all the information, and it sends it all the way to our function file, into our edit category function, and from there it does the magic. Everything gets sent into the database, and then it will return them to the home page. So we're going to say header location text.php. Actually, no, categories.php, cats.php. Just like that. We go here, and we'll refresh. General topics, we'll just change the name a little bit, hit submit. Ooh, it did not edit it. Let's try this again. Tutorials. Let's remove the S, hit submit. Okay. Undefined index ID, error new SQL syntax. ID equals 0 at line 1. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back here. ID equals 2. Now if we have our edit category page. Okay, here's the problem. There's a syntax error right here. We didn't end our echo with a semicolon, so it doesn't know what it's echoing out. So we're just gonna cancel this, go back, refresh, and we're gonna edit our tutorials, remove the ls, hit submit. Oh, we're still having undefined index. Do edit c.php. Line 6. Oh, that's why. It's not. We're having an issue because, see how these are all post? We're submitting post, and I just put get because I was thinking about get at the moment. So make sure we're using post when we're using the post thing, and get when we're using the get variable through the URL. So we're going to save that, go back, edit this one, remove S, and that just say that, click submit. And there we go. We have successfully gone into our database and that allows us to edit our categories, add them and delete them. And if we log out, it logs us out. And that's the end of this tutorial. I'll see you guys in the next part.